Hey guys, it's MusicTechHelpGuy, and I've got a real quick video for you today. I'm going to be reviewing the Make Me Scream plugin from WA Production, as well as giving away 2 free licenses for this plugin. So stick around to the end of the video to see how you can win this plugin. So this is a 2-stage distortion plugin, and in a world where there are lots and lots of distortion plugins out there, this one gives you a bunch of different distortion types, but it also has a built-in envelope follower. One of the problems I have with a lot of distortion plugins is that they just saturate the whole signal. They don't take into account transients in the signal. Really, you want more of the saturation on the transients and less in between the transients. Otherwise, you get something that just sounds, distorted, but not musically distorted. So that's what's really cool about this plugin is, in addition to all the different types and modes of distortion, you also have an envelope follower that can vary the amount of distortion note to note. So first, let's just drag in just something to work with here. Let me just drag in some hi-hats or something, and then I'll load up Make Me Scream on this. One thing to keep in mind is this is one of those plugins where after you install it, you have to make sure to restart your computer for it to show up. So if you've purchased this, by the way, they have a sale on it. It's like, it's normally like $60, but they're selling it for like next to nothing right now for the holidays. So, but anyway, if you install this, make sure you restart your computer, otherwise it won't show up. All right, so let's just play around with this. We've got 4 different distortion types. I think this changes the actual, the type of clipping. So we've got sort of like a soft clipping, a little harder, like a square wave almost type clipping, and then like a really hard clipping. And then there's 4 modes: fuzz, wall, cliff, and Make Me Scream. So let me try playing around with these, plus the preamp tube, plus the boost parameter for now. There's also a wet dry knob over here. I really like that. I just don't get it. In 2020, when I see new plugins that don't have a wet dry knob on them, it just baffles me. I think pretty much all plugins should have a wet dry on them nowadays. Cool. There's also an oversampling feature, 1 times, 2 times, up to 16 times. What oversampling does is, the way I like to think about it is, it's like, even if your project is at 44.1 or maybe 48, like a lower sample rate, the plugin itself internally can sort of boost its sample rate higher for the to process. And then it's converted down and sent through an anti-aliasing filter for playback. And what that means is that you don't get any nasty fold over or aliasing noise in your signal for the processing. You see this a lot in a lot of mastering plugins, especially like mastering limiters. With a distortion plugin, oversampling may or may not actually be what you want. So don't think of this as just immediately better, because sometimes the aliasing and fold over noise you get from distortion adds to the tone of the signal. So it may be something you actually end up liking. But let me try this out with 4 times oversampling. Yeah, it's going to be really subtle, and also if you use oversampling in most plugins, it also requires more processing power. I don't know, maybe it sounds a little bit clearer with the higher oversampling, but it's not like really super noticeable because the signal's already, pretty heavily distorted at this point. Let's play around with the emphasis and the envelope follower and see what these sound like. So with the envelope follower, if you push this into the positive, you'll hear more of the distortion on the transient heavy areas. Whereas if you pull it into the negative, it'll do the opposite. You'll hear less on the transient heavy areas. And I should probably pull this fully into the wet signal here to hear this better. Now you might also want to filter your noise. That might be a lot a lot to deal with there. There's 3 different options for filters. So there's a low pass, a band pass, and a high pass. I'm going to put this on high pass, and this will allow me to roll out the distortion in the low end. Cool. Let me try adding some other instruments in here. All right, so off screen, I just made a little beat here. By the way, I'm just pulling in loops from Splice over here, and there's no effects on this other than a little reverb on this guitar one shot. I've still got Make Me Scream on the hi-hat topper. Let's see what we can do for the kick, snare, and bass. Cool, so I'm just giving a little dirt to the kick drum. Keep in mind that the filter only affects the distortion signal. It does not affect the dry signal, so my dry kick drum is still there. Let's give the snare a bit of a boost as well. I love the way distortion sounds on reverb. Let's give this a shot on the bass now. Yeah, so if you wanted less of that sort of grimy, distorted effect, you could try rolling down the wet dry knob to a real low signal. Again, just add a little dirt to things rather than fully distort them. It's really up to you. I like the distorted version better than the dry version, but that's just me. I like distorted sounds. So that's Make Me Scream from WA Production. They've got a whole bunch of nice plugins over at their site, so go check them out. I'll leave a link in the video description below. And their prices are extremely affordable. So there's a lot of different sound tools over there for you to check out. Again, in partnership with WA Production, we're giving away 2 free copies of Make Me Scream. All you have to do is subscribe to my channel, subscribe to WA Productions channel, and then leave a comment below, and I'll randomly select 2 winners in about a week or so. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.